what one source calls one of the most dangerously misunderstood concepts in life. Seriously, it's an idea that's said to cause a ton of suffering. Not because it's evil at its core, but because we've all kind of inherited a flawed, incomplete picture of what it really means. Okay, that's a pretty intense question, I know. But the whole argument from the source we're looking at today is that, yeah, a lot of people are. Not because they're bad people, but because of a misunderstanding that's been passed down for generations. So let's get right into it and break down what this sin is and why the common understanding of it might be missing the most important part. All right, first things first, we have to understand just how big of a deal this sin is. It's traditionally known as shirk, which basically means associating partners with God. The source material kicks things off by showing us just how seriously the Quran treats this. Just listen to the finality in that. This verse draws a hard line in the sand. It sets this one single act apart from, well, everything else. Every other sin you can think of, big or small, falls into that other category. You know, the stuff that might be forgiven. But shirk, it's put in a league of its own. But here's where this interpretation takes a sharp turn. The punishment isn't just something to worry about in the afterlife. No, the speaker argues that the consequences for this sin show up right here, right now. It's described as a kind of hell on earth, a life where you just feel lost, confused, and filled with suffering, even if on the outside you look like you're doing all the right religious things. And now we get to the absolute heart of the argument. The source brings up this crucial distinction, and honestly, it all boils down to two tiny little Arabic words that change the entire meaning of this concept. This is the key. Okay, so this is the version of shirk most people think of. The Arabic word here is ma, which means with or alongside. The speaker paints a picture of a person whose faith is on one track, but their own personal desires and whims are running right next to it on a parallel track. It's a mistake for sure. It's straying from the path. To make this super clear, the source gives this powerful analogy. Imagine you're in a committed relationship, but you start developing a crush on someone else. That attraction is running alongside your main commitment. It's a betrayal, a personal failing, no doubt. But it's what you do next that could push this into unforgivable territory. And here it is. This is the game changer. Notice the little word changed from ma to bi. In Arabic, the letter B can mean using something as a means to an end. Think about the difference between saying, I'm traveling with my friend versus I'm traveling by car. In the second one, the car is the tool. So shirk bi Allah isn't just having another desire, it's using God as the vehicle to get that other desire. And this just nails the difference, doesn't it? Imagine going to your partner, the person you're supposed to be loyal to, and saying, hey, you see that person over there I have a crush on? Can you do me a favor and go get their number for me? It's unthinkable. You've just turned your loyal partner into the tool for your own betrayal. You're using them. And that transforms a simple mistake into a profound manipulative act. This slide just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you've got a forgivable mistake, following your desires alongside your faith. But on the other, you have this unforgivable manipulation, using your faith, using God Himself as a tool, as leverage to get what you want. And according to this source, it's that manipulation that brings an unavoidable punishment right here in this life. So all this might sound a little theological, a little abstract, but the source argues that this sin is happening all around us every single day, often hiding in plain sight. I mean, here's a classic example from the source material. A parent really wants their kid to go to a certain university. Maybe it's for status. Maybe it's to live out their own unfulfilled dreams. Whatever the personal reason, they frame it as a divine command. And boom, there it is. That's shirk bi Allah. The parent's personal desire is the real goal, but instead of just owning it, they use God as a tool, almost like a weapon to enforce their will and completely steamroll their child's freedom. The speaker is clear. This act of coercion will circle right back and bring suffering to the parent. And once you see it everywhere. A parent forcing their child into a marriage they don't want, saying it's God's will. A spouse using scripture to demand obedience instead of building a real partnership. Or think bigger, a political leader quoting holy verses to manipulate the masses and grab more power. In every single one of these cases, a personal, worldly desire is being masked and achieved by means of religion. So you have to be asking, why? Why does this specific type of shirk guarantee punishment in this life? Well, according to the source, the answer has everything to do with the raw power and reality of our intentions. Now, this view directly goes against the really common belief most of us inherited, which is if you have a bad thought, but you don't act on it, you're good. No harm, no foul. But the view being proposed here is totally different. It says your inner world, all your intentions, the ones you say out loud and the ones you keep hidden, are actively creating your reality right now. There's no escaping the echo of your own inner state. And this Quranic verse is held up as the proof. It doesn't make any distinction between what you show and what you hide. It says Allah will call you to account for it, period. The argument is that this accounting isn't some far-off judgment day. It's an immediate law of cause and effect playing out in our daily lives. So what does that mean? It means if you're secretly harboring an intention to control someone or to coerce them or to get revenge, the universe, or God, responds to the energy of that intention, not the pretty religious words you wrap it in. You can call your desire for revenge divine retribution all you want, but that doesn't change what it is. You're putting an energy of harm out into the world, and you will attract events with that exact same harmful energy right back to you. So all of this leads us to a final, really important choice that this interpretation puts in front of us, and it really just boils down to one fundamental question. Who or what are you really following? And here are the two paths laid out for us. Path one is to just blindly follow inherited traditions. You risk following interpretations made by other people that might be flawed, or even traditions that tell you some divine words are canceled and don't apply anymore. Path two is to take full personal responsibility, to follow God directly by constantly examining your own intentions and actions. And that path, is argued, is what leads to real, genuine freedom. At the end of the day, the source argues that true faith can't possibly exist if there's coercion involved. The divine role is presented as simply delivering a message, and the human role is just to pass that message along. There's no instruction manual that says to force, control, or compel anyone. Any attempt to do that, especially when you're using God's name to do it, is a total violation of that principle. It is Shirk bi Allah. And that's the big, provocative question this interpretation leaves us with. It really forces you to stop and think. Is your life being guided by a direct, free relationship with the divine? Or is it guided by the inherited, human-made rules and structures built around it? It's a question with consequences, not just for the next life, but for every single moment of this one.